What can I say about the watch I'm going to show you guys today? I wanted honest feedback about this watch. So before I made this video, I sent a picture of this watch to a couple of members from the community and they were in awe of its beauty. And when I told them how much I paid for it, they were just flabbergasted. The same way I felt when I first laid my eyes and hands on it. This watch, according to me, redefines the term bang for bucks at its discounted rate. Also, I searched on YouTube to see if someone had already talked about this watch, this particular watch, and I didn't find any video, not even a shorts video, so this must be the first time. Alright, so I have teased you guys enough, so let's get to the unboxing. Namaste everybody. Yes, this is a different setup. I'm back in my hometown after almost 4 years and yes, it's not as spruced up as the previous setup, but it is going to change, so please bear with me. It's been about 3 weeks since I bought this Q&Q E02A diver style all resin watch, and it is coming very close to replacing my G-Shock GD350 as an everyday watch. I mean, just look at that gorgeous light gray color and that green seconds hand to complement it. This is one of those watches that can become a conversation starter, and if it doesn't get noticed, then there is something on this watch that you can do that can grab some attention. More about that later. Let's dive right in. I ordered this watch on Amazon Japan. Now, if I didn't make this next section, I know many of you guys will go crazy in the comments. You would be requesting me about the procedure on how to order this from Amazon Japan. So if you are in any country, you can follow the same procedure. So here goes. Visit amazon.jp. You will need to open a new account with Amazon Japan, and all you need is your Indian mobile number or the mobile number of the country you reside in. Once you are logged in, you just need to enter your shipping address in your profile and browse away. The Q&Q E02A has a retail price of 6,600 yen, which is rupees 3,457. But it was on offer at 57% discount. After the addition of shipping and import duties, this watch cost me rupees 3,938. Amazing deal. There are a few other colorways of this model if this light gray doesn't tickle your fancy. Let's now evaluate the super affordable Q&Q E02A diver style watch for the first time here on TikTok Treasures. Let's cover one aspect at a time. The case and bezel are resin, and this is light gray in color. The case has a crown guard extension, which is always a practical trait and visually pleasing. I like it. This watch has a lug to lug of 47 millimeters. It has a case diameter of 43 millimeters measured to the tip of the crown, has a lug width of 20 millimeters, so you can start thinking of alternate strap options like a NATO strap, and a case thickness of 12 millimeters. Now comes the fun part. The Q&Q E02A has a unidirectionally rotating bezel that has 0 to 60 markings. The markings between 0 and 20 are on single ridge to accommodate those sub-markers, while the markings at 30, 40 and 50 have their own ridge. Q&Q E02A's bezel has a sweet sound and has 60 clicks on one full rotation, and this is the first time I'm experiencing a resin on resin ratcheting action. Let's have a listen. That is music to my ears. Gets the endorphins flowing, doesn't it? With this bezel, there is some slacking, but it's alright. The only concern is, can plastic on plastic bezel action handle frequent rotation? Can you use this watch as a fidget spinner on a daily basis to relieve stress? If yes, then for how long? Only time will tell. The crystal is acrylic, which is not scratch resistant, but at least it's recessed ever so slightly, so there is some respite. The crown sits pretty within the crown guard, and since this watch has only time function, it pulls out only to one position, so you can rotate in either direction to set time. Alright, so the back of the case is resin too, and I have no idea as to what is happening here. There is the Q&Q branding, below which there is a mention of this watch being a solar powered one, and Citizen claims that this watch will never need a battery change, and maybe that's why it looks like the case back is glued on, or maybe there isn't even a case back and this is all just a single unit. I'm not sure. The Q&Q E02A has a charcoal black dial against which the painted white hour markers and Arabic numerals stand out. Very contrasty. I wish all the hour markers were the same font size, but this is alright too. Hour and minute hands match the case for color, and they have a decent spread of lume, which I will cover later. The beautiful green arrow seconds hand tracks over the indices and just about meets the minute markers on the periphery of the dial and hits the markers bang on. Q&Q doesn't have the most impressive logo here, but they have upgraded recently with their Smile Solar series, which I will cover in the future here on the channel. This watch exudes proper field watch vibes with its high contrast dial, making it very practical because it's easy to read. Now, here is an interesting fact if you didn't already know. Citizen was the first to create a light-powered analog quartz watch way back in 1976, which we now know as EcoDrive. Casio's first solar-powered watch came only 7 years later in the form of W27. Q&Q watches have two different ways in which they design their light-powered watches. One is with the solar cell underneath a translucent dial, and the other is with a ring-shaped solar cell on the periphery of the dial. According to the product listing, the E02A has the first system with a solar cell underneath this dial, but I have my doubts because the dial doesn't look translucent. Once fully charged, the watch can keep time in the dark for up to 3.5 months, roughly half the duration that an EcoDrive watch from Citizen can. Now, you might wonder, this is not a digital watch and there are no indicators if the watch were to have low charge. How will you be able to tell? They have designed the module such that when the battery doesn't have enough charge that was stored from all the light exposure, the seconds hand starts ticking in 2-second intervals, so you need to keep an eye on that. The Q&Q E02A has 10 bar water resistance, and it amazes me how an affordable watch with a pressed down crown and an all plastic build, including the case pack, manages to get 10 bar water resistance. Impressive. The lume is pretty good. There is a generous spread of lume on the hour and minute hands and some lume on the arrowhead of the seconds hand. The lume on the tiny indices and seconds hand weaken after a few seconds, but the main hand stays strong for a while. And if your eyes can get used to the dark, you can really spot it to read time. This resin strap is a different shade of gray than the gray of the case. It appears beige to me. The strap is thick and stiff. Some might prefer the softer resin strap like in the case of Casio watches, but this is good too. Once it's wrapped around your wrist, you can barely tell the difference. Let's now try on this watch. The Q&Q E02A is the perfect size for my wrist, with the lug ends meeting the edges of my 6.8-inch wrist. The gray really pops on my brown skin. The watch is light at just 29 grams, and you can sense this lightness, but after a few hours of wearing this, I forgot this was on my wrist. Not just because of the lightweight, but also because this is the first time I wore a watch with a plastic case back, and it is super comfy against the skin. In conclusion, as a watch enthusiast, well, as an affordable watch enthusiast, the Q&Q E02A is a delight to own. Ever since it arrived, it has spent a lot of time on my wrist. This watch packs features. It is a diver style watch with a unidirectionally rotating bezel that has a sweet ratcheting sound. The dial is designed to be aesthetic and readable at the same time. The watch has a solar cell that powers the movement, and during times of zero exposure to light, the stored charge in the battery powers the watch, and it can do so for up to 3.5 months. This will be a good buy, but if you can get it at a discounted rate, then close your eyes and buy it. Thank you for joining me today in unboxing this very special Q&Q watch, a diver style watch, an all resin watch from Q&Q, a solar powered watch, a watch that has not been seen before on YouTube. I hope you guys enjoyed it. What did you guys like about this watch? Is there one particular feature about this watch that you like the most? Do you think the 4,000 rupees I paid for this watch was worth it? Let me know in the comments. Please like this video. Please share this video with a watch lover who has not come across this watch before. And also subscribe to our channel to become part of a fast growing watch community. I will see you guys on the next one. Till then, stay tuned and stay classy.